Today we are exposing 8 canned cocktails that are flat out lying to you and revealing the few brands that are actually worth your money. Number 1 might be the best $5 you spend all summer. Here is the dirty secret the beverage industry does not want you to know. More than 80% of every canned cocktail sold in America is not a cocktail at all. It is flavored malt liquor dressed up in cocktail packaging, sold at cocktail prices, and designed to fool you at the shelf. The reason comes down to one word: taxes. Federal excise tax on real spirits runs $13.50 per proof gallon. Malt beverages pay roughly 58 cents. That is a 23 times difference. In some states, the gap is even worse. In West Virginia, a 6% alcohol spirit-based ready-to-drink cocktail pays 71 cents per can in excise tax. The exact same strength malt-based product pays 2 cents. That is a 35 times cost advantage for the companies using cheap malt base instead of actual vodka, tequila, or whiskey. They pocket every penny of that savings while you think you are drinking a real margarita. The canned cocktail market hit $903 million in 2024 and is growing at over 15% every single year. Brands are flooding the shelves faster than regulators can keep up. And here is what makes it even worse. Alcohol beverages are exempt from FDA nutrition and ingredient labeling requirements. That means companies are not required to tell you what is actually in the can. No ingredient list, no nutrition facts panel, nothing. Federal rules technically allow cocktail names like margarita on malt beverages, as long as the words malt beverage appear somewhere on the label, usually in the smallest font legally possible on the back or bottom of the can. Most of these brands are betting you will never flip the can around and read the fine print. We did, and what we found will change the way you shop forever. But first, the brands that earned their spot on the never buy list. Number 11. The Ritas line from Anheuser-Busch is what happens when a beer company decides to commit fraud and call it marketing. Lime-A-Rita, Strawberry-Rita, and the entire Ritas lineup used words like margarita, mojito, and sangria right on the front of the can, complete with cocktail glass imagery and the phrase sparkling classic cocktails. There was just one problem. These drinks contained 0 tequila, 0 rum, and 0 wine. Every single can was 100% flavored malt beverage. The deception was so blatant that consumers filed a class action lawsuit, and Anheuser-Busch lost. They settled in 2022, paying customers up to $21.25 per household. The court found that the tiny disclaimer reading malt beverage at the bottom of the packaging was not enough to offset the cocktail branding plastered across the front. A single 8-ounce Lime-A-Rita packed 220 calories and 29 grams of carbs. That is not a margarita. That is liquid candy made from beer. Anheuser-Busch agreed to add prominent malt beverage labeling and include "does not contain distilled spirits" on their websites. When a company has to be forced by a court to tell you what is actually in the can, you know you are being played. Number 10. Fireball Cinnamon might be the single most deceptive product in the American beverage industry. Here is the scheme. Sazerac sells 2 nearly identical looking products. Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey with a Y is real whiskey at 33% alcohol by volume, sold in liquor stores. Fireball Cinnamon without the whiskey label is a malt-based beverage at 16.5% alcohol by volume, containing absolutely 0 whiskey, sold at gas stations and grocery stores in over 170,000 retail locations. The packaging is virtually indistinguishable. Same dragon logo, same red and gold color scheme, same font. The only difference is a few words in tiny print that most customers never notice. A class action lawsuit filed in January 2023 alleged that the labeling was designed to mislead reasonable consumers. The court agreed enough to let the case proceed, denying Sazerac's motion to dismiss. Meanwhile, Fireball also sells malt-based extensions like Fireball Apple and Fireball Lemonade. None of them contain a drop of real whiskey. If you are buying Fireball at a gas station or convenience store, you are buying flavored malt liquor. Full stop. The biggest scam in canned cocktails is not bad flavor. It is convincing millions of people they are drinking whiskey when the can is full of beer. Number 9. Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails carry the most famous whiskey name in America across their entire product line. That iconic black and white label, those cocktail names like Lynchburg Lemonade, and the Tennessee Heritage branding all scream premium whiskey cocktail. But turn the can around and you will find 3 words that change everything. Premium malt beverage. At 4.8% alcohol by volume, these contain no meaningful amount of Jack Daniel's whiskey whatsoever. They are functionally flavored malt liquor trading on a name that took 150 years to build. A 2024 lawsuit filed in the Southern District of New York alleges the products mislead consumers into believing they contain real whiskey. Jack Daniel's does sell separate spirit-based canned cocktails that actually use real whiskey, but even those disappoint. Reviewers called the Jack and Cola version artificial in every way, with flavor that is unbearably sweet and carbonation that falls flat. At $12.99 for a 4-pack, you could buy a bottle of Jack and a 2-liter of cola for less money and make a dramatically better drink. When 150 years of brand equity gets slapped onto flavored beer, heritage becomes a marketing weapon, not a promise. Number 8. Clubtails is the number 1 selling flavored malt beverage at 10% alcohol in the entire United States, and every single product is 100% malt-based. Despite using cocktail names like Margarita, Long Island Iced Tea, Screwdriver, and Bahama Mama, these cans have never been within shouting distance of real spirits. The brand triple filters their malt base to try to mask the grainy beer flavor, then markets the result as the original cocktail in a can. Their own frequently asked questions page admits the drinks are malt-based, but that admission is buried on a website most customers will never visit. Meanwhile, the cans sit on shelves right next to actual cocktails, wearing the same vocabulary and the same visual language. At $2 to $3 per can, you get exactly what cheap malt liquor delivers: a headache. This is cocktail cosplay, a Halloween costume for beer, and millions of Americans buy it every year without realizing they have never tasted what is actually printed on the front of the can. Number 7. 4 Loko is not pretending to be something sophisticated, but it deserves a spot on this list for a different reason. It is arguably the most dangerous canned drink ever sold in America. At 14% alcohol in a 24-ounce can, a single 4 Loko delivers the equivalent of nearly 5 standard drinks for about $3. The original formula combined that alcohol with caffeine, guarana, and taurine, creating what the media dubbed blackout in a can. After mass hospitalizations of college students, the FDA forced the company to remove the stimulants in 2010. Multiple states, including Michigan, Washington, and New York, temporarily banned the product entirely. The company was founded by 3 Ohio State fraternity brothers who described themselves as their own target market. The formula may have changed, but the mission remains the same. Maximum intoxication at minimum cost, packaged in fruity flavors that mask just how much alcohol you are consuming. This is still 100% malt-based, still dangerously strong, and still engineered to get people drunk before they realize what hit them. If your drink needs a government intervention to become legal again, it probably does not belong in your hand. Number 6. BuzzBallz look fun and harmless. Those colorful little spheres sitting at every gas station checkout have become a cultural phenomenon, but the nutrition tells a different story. The average BuzzBallz packs around 26 grams of sugar per container, with flavors like Lotta Colada hitting 31 grams. That exceeds a full can of Coca-Cola, crammed into a container roughly 1/3 the size. At 15% alcohol in just 200 milliliters, BuzzBallz deliver a rapid spike followed by what reviewers consistently describe as a brutal hangover. But here is the real trick most people miss. BuzzBallz sells 3 completely different product lines in virtually identical packaging. The cocktails line uses actual distilled liquor like vodka, rum, and tequila. The chillers line uses a wine base, and the malt line uses malt base. The containers look almost the same. Unless you are reading fine print at the gas station, you have no idea which version you are actually buying. In May 2024, Sazerac acquired BuzzBallz for over $1 billion. At $3.50 to $5 for a container smaller than a soda can, the price per ounce of actual alcohol is terrible. When the packaging is the product and the contents are a guessing game, you are not buying a cocktail. You are buying a lottery ticket that tastes like candy. Number 5. Crown Royal canned cocktails use real Crown Royal Canadian whiskey, so technically they are not lying about what is inside. The problem is value, and the math is devastating. At $14.99 for a 4-pack of drinks at just 7% alcohol, you are paying premium prices for a diluted experience that barely registers as whiskey. One reviewer described the whiskey and cola as offering a whisper of Crown whiskey, more like a distant cousin than the real thing. Another said these are not in the same league as Cutwater or Craft House, which are cheaper and stronger. For context, Cutwater delivers 12 to 13% alcohol at $12.99 for a 4-pack, nearly double the strength for $2 less. The real comparison that kills this product is the bottle test. A $30 bottle of Crown Royal gives you roughly 17 standard pours at home. A $15 4-pack gives you 4 watered-down servings, where the whiskey is an afterthought. For the price of 2 4-packs, you own the whole bottle. That is not a rounding error. That is a markup designed for people who prioritize convenience over basic arithmetic. Crown Royal is banking on the Purple Velvet Bag brand equity to justify a product that barely contains enough whiskey to register on your palate. When you are paying for the name on the can more than what is inside it, you are still getting robbed. Just politely. Number 4. Truly cocktails from Boston Beer Company occupy a strange middle ground in the deception spectrum. The alcohol in Standard Truly comes from fermented cane sugar, which is technically neither spirits nor malt. But slapping the word cocktails on the label is still misleading, because these are repositioned hard seltzers wearing cocktail names they never earned. At 5% alcohol and $16 to $20 per 12-pack, they are reasonably priced for what they are. But what they are is flavored sugar water with alcohol, not cocktails by any definition a bartender would recognize. The company itself acknowledged in 2021 that the hard seltzer boom was fading faster than expected, and Truly has been declining as a percentage of company revenue through 2024. Their Truly Vodka Seltzer line does use real vodka, but the main cocktail branded line does not. This is not the worst offender on the list. Nobody is getting sued over it. But calling a hard seltzer a cocktail is like calling a microwave dinner fine dining. The ingredients are technically edible, the container says what it says, but nothing inside the can agrees with what is printed on the outside. At some point, words should mean something. Now here is where this story changes completely. Because while the corporate giants were busy stuffing malt liquor into cans and calling it craft, a handful of small companies decided to do something the industry said was impossible. They put real cocktails in cans. Actual spirits, actual recipes, actual quality. And they proved that the $900 million market built on deception was never about limitations. It was about choices. The next 3 brands chose integrity, and they deliver more in a single can than most of the brands above deliver in a case. Number 3. Cutwater Spirits flipped the equation on everything the big brands get wrong. This San Diego distillery builds every product on a simple promise. Real spirits, distilled in-house, put into cans at honest strength. Their lineup ranges from 7 to 14% alcohol, with most products delivering 2 full shots of actual spirits per 12-ounce can for about $3.25 each. That is less than most bars charge for a single well drink. Their lime margarita ranked number 1 in a blind taste test by The Kitchen, beating 28 other canned cocktails in a head-to-head competition where brand names were hidden and only flavor mattered. The Tequila Paloma earned praise from Consumer Reports. Across competitions, Cutwater has collected more than 30 individual product awards at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition, SIP Awards, and the Denver International Spirits Competition. Yes, Anheuser-Busch InBev acquired Cutwater, and purists worried the quality would drop. But the distillery still produces everything in-house at their San Diego facility. The same equipment, the same team, the same standards that earned those awards in the first place. At $12.99 per 4-pack, Cutwater proves that real spirits in a can do not have to cost a fortune. They just need a company that respects its customers enough to put actual cocktail ingredients inside a container labeled cocktail. When you are tired of being lied to by the flashy brands, this is where honest drinking starts. Number 2. Meridiem might be the most transparent canned cocktail brand in America, and they prove it by doing something no other brand has the confidence to do. They print the entire recipe right on every single can. Their double old-fashioned tells you exactly what you are drinking. 3 ounces of straight bourbon whiskey, 4 dashes of a blend of 3 bitters, 1/3 ounce Demerara syrup, and orange zest oil. No mystery ingredients, no fine print games, no malt base hiding behind cocktail vocabulary. Just a real recipe from a real bar, scaled for a can. At 37% alcohol by volume, this is a full-proof cocktail, identical in strength to what a skilled bartender would hand you across a mahogany bar top. Their espresso martini won Best in Class at the same World Spirits competition that judges thousands of entries from every major distillery on the planet. And that award was earned with real ingredients: cold-brewed 100% Arabica coffee, imported maraschino liqueur, and actual vodka. No flavoring extracts, no artificial anything. At $3.99 to $4.49 per 100 milliliter can, Meridiem delivers bar quality at a fraction of bar prices. They are currently available in 19 states and expanding fast. While every other brand on the never buy list is hiding what is inside the can behind tiny disclaimers and misleading packaging, Meridiem built their entire identity on showing you. That kind of confidence does not come from marketing departments or focus groups. It comes from knowing the liquid speaks for itself. When the recipe is the marketing, you know you are buying something real. Number 1. Tip Top Proper Cocktails is the brand that made the entire canned cocktail industry look dishonest by proving what was always possible. While the giants were busy slapping cocktail names onto cans of flavored beer, a former beverage director from one of Atlanta's most acclaimed restaurants decided to do something radical. Put actual world-class cocktails into cans and prove the entire industry wrong. Miles McQuarrie built his reputation at Kimball House, one of the most celebrated cocktail bars in the American South. When he launched Tip Top, the concept was audacious. Real spirits, real recipes, full bar-proof strength in a portable format. Nothing synthetic, nothing fake. The industry said it could not be done at scale. The awards proved otherwise. Tip Top is now the most decorated canned cocktail brand in America. At the 2024 World Spirits Competition in San Francisco, they took home 9 medals, including a double gold for their Jungle Bird, which was named Best in Class. Their old-fashioned clocks in at full bar proof, the exact same strength you would get from a bartender using proper ratios. Real whiskey, real sugar, real bitters. Their Negroni uses actual gin, genuine vermouth, and authentic red bitter liqueur. Their margarita scored 95 points from Wine Enthusiast and was ranked the #1 ready-to-drink margarita in the country. At roughly $5 per can or $15 to $20 for a 4-pack, Tip Top costs less than a single cocktail at most bars. And unlike those bars, you know exactly what you are getting, because the quality has been validated by the toughest judging panels in the spirits world. These are not sympathy awards handed out for showing up. These are medals earned by going head-to-head against the best in the industry and winning. Tip Top is now served on Delta Airlines flights and ships to 40 states. They did not need a celebrity endorsement. They did not need a viral marketing campaign. They built their reputation the old-fashioned way, by making the best product in the category and letting every can justify itself. Here is the question worth asking. If Tip Top can put a 37% alcohol by volume old-fashioned, made with real bourbon into a can for $5, what exactly is everyone else's excuse? Why are billion-dollar corporations with unlimited resources and global supply chains selling you flavored malt liquor at the same price? The answer is not that real cocktails in cans are too hard or too expensive. Tip Top proved that wrong. The answer is that the big brands do not respect you enough to try. They calculated that most consumers will never read the fine print, never question the branding, and never realize they are paying cocktail prices for dressed-up beer. Tip Top made the opposite bet. They bet on the liquid. And the liquid won. The next time you reach for a canned cocktail with a famous name, flashy packaging, or a celebrity face on it, flip it around. Read the fine print. If it says malt beverage, put it back. If it says flavored malt beverage, run. Because somewhere on that same shelf, probably sitting lower and quieter without the marketing budget or the Super Bowl commercial, there is a brand that put genuine ingredients, honest recipes, and actual craftsmanship into what you are about to drink. The price difference is often zero. The quality difference is everything. Skip the malt liquor in disguise. Buy the cocktail that actually is one. If this changed the way you think about what you are drinking, hit subscribe. We have a lot more to expose.